For this build, I'm using 5/8 melamine. Now I'm building pretty much a box. This is just the first cabinet with a shelf in the middle. I'm using 5/8 melamine, and I'm going to put a dado in the back for a back panel, and the panel is 3/16 of an inch. So I'll just go around the perimeter, cutting that dado in. And I'm going to edge band before I assemble. I find that it's going to be easier, and it's only the front face that's getting the edge band. I'm using a file to cut into it. I like to use this method because it seems to work best for me. And I cut it at a 90-degree angle, followed by a 120 sandpaper, just to soften up the edges so nothing snags on it. And I'll just give it a light sand. Now for assembly, it's always good to have another pair of hands. I'm going to just put some pin nails to hold it in place while I screw it together. Now, some of you guys are looking at that going, you know, you're going to see that. I'm doing something different with this build that I've never done before. So I wanted to try it out. So I'm not worried about any screw holes or pinholes. I am going to pre-drill everything and drive my 1.5-inch screws in place. And I will do this to both sides as well. Again, not worrying about the edge band on the sides and not worried about the screw holes. Now I decided to put my my pinholes for my shelving, so I'm just using my jig here and doing that to both sides. And for mounting the cabinet to the wall, I'm putting a backer plate on. This is some leftover melamine that I had from cutting up for the cabinet. I think it's like 6 inches, pre-drilling, driving my screws. I did inset it back 3/16 of an inch for my back panel to sit flush. Now for my panel, I don't like to use pins because when you push on it from the back side, it seems to pop it out too easily. So I like to use staples. So I'm just going to drive my staples all the way around, and I know it's secured tight. I'm going to test fit my shelf to make sure everything is good to go. On this cabinet, there's no kick plate. It's just going to sit straight on the ground. It's a simple build. Now, the other two cabinets are pretty much the same as the first one I built, but these two are getting drawers instead of shelves. So I already pre-built the other cabinets. Now I'm starting to build my boxes. Now I like to make the front a little bit shorter. That way I can slide my 1/4-inch plywood for the bottom. And I like to do it this way. That way if it ever gets damaged, I just got to undo the 3 screws, slide that panel out, and slide a new one in. And I'll just put about 2 or 3 screws on this drawer. Now for my drawer slides, I don't like to use the drawer slide jigs. I haven't found the right one. They don't seem to work good for me for some strange reason. So I like to just use a 4-inch riser, cut it out of 1x4 plywood, whatever you have. I'm using 4 inches on the bottom, then driving my screws for my drawer slides. I'll do this to both sides. And then for the top, I will use 7-inch risers. Again, I don't have the right jig that works best for me. I'm not giving up on that yet. Eventually I will find the right jig. For the bottom, I'll just use 3/4 inch scrap, plywood, rest my cabinet, my drawer on the plywood, pull my drawer slides out, drive my screws in on each side. Then I'll just pull the drawer out a little more and drive the other screws in. And I find that this works out even, and it works best for me. For the bottom, again, there's no kick plate. But on these two cabinets, because there's drawers, I can't have it sitting on the floor. So I'm just using a 1-inch riser, screwing it from the bottom. I'm doing both sides, and the top, I'm not doing the back side. There's no need for it. And you won't even see this once it's on the ground. And again, this is just leftover 5/8. Okay, so I've never done vinyl wrapping before. This is my first time. I wanted to try it out and give it a whirl. So I took the time to do a couple doors. It actually went quite smoothly. It's got a good bond. Again, this is self-adhesive. You just peel the back. I wanted to try it out. Again, I've never done this before, so I wanted to see what it's like, and I'll do a review in 6-7 months from now to see how well it's holding up. So I've done a couple doors already. I got these two to do. Lining up the lines is a bit of a challenge. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing 2 doors. I got the top door done, minus I still got to put the handles on it. So I'm just lining it up like this, lining this to where it's got to go, pushing this back, finishing off the bottom. Then I take the door off from the back side and I wrap around the edges. That way it's properly sealed. And I take the door off to do that. I find that it's better if I can get a good chunk of it done on the inside. But other than that, that is it. So what I'm going to do is I basically pulled out a whole piece to do all 3 doors so they all line up the design. And I'm going to do this one door here. I'll cut it, and then this will be for the bottom door after I have this one wrapped. And I'll reinstall this door with the 2 screws and then do the bottom, and then I'll take it all off, drill the holes out for the handles. So I'm just taking a card. Now I'm holding this back. I find it that if you go sideways with it, you get all the air pockets out. Now again, this is a little bit tricky, but once you do a few, it actually goes quite smoothly. You just gotta be patient and take your time. So I got the 4 or 5 drawers done, minus the handles. So it's for first time, you got to spend time. You got to be patient. Hopefully, it's got good stick. It seems to have great stick, but we'll see down the road. 6 months from now, we'll see what happens. Is it going to hold out? Is it not? I'll do a review on it. It's definitely. It was cheap to buy. I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to try it, see what it's like, try something new. And I figure since it's in my office, I'll give it a try. I got the one side of the cabinet there to do, and then I can set that cabinet in place, and then that is good to go. and I'm ready for the countertop. So I'll get that one done, and then we'll get on to the countertop. Now that I have all my vinyl on, I'm going to put on these drawer pulls. I'm going to go with the extra large ones. Now I got my jig set up. I'm going to have to adjust it differently on these drawers for the up and down. The width is all the same, and then when I get to these ones, again, I'll have to adjust it for the up and down to make sure that my drawer pulls are center. So it's a little bit of time consuming there, but not too bad. I'm going to start drilling out my holes. I have to take the doors off because the screws that they supplied with these are a little bit short, so it won't go through the 1.5 inch total, the 3/4 for the drawer front and 3/4 of the drawer itself, or 1/2 inch, sorry. So I'll drill the holes, I'll pull these off, put the screws in from the back, and then reinstall them. One down, 4 to go. Now for the countertop, I'm using 3/4 inch aspen plywood, and I just had some leftover cutoff for the top. I cut these at about 3.5, 4 inches, and I'm just gluing them and pinning them into place, and I'm putting them at the edge of the plywood. That way it just looks like the countertop is 1.5 inches thick, but it's only 3/4. And then I'll edge band that, and it just gives it that thicker look. Now on the other side of this, there was a radius on the corner because it was 2 different size cabinets. So I'm going to take my 3.5 inch piece, and I'm going to run it longer past the radius. And when I flip it over, you'll see what I mean. I'm just going to take a jigsaw and cut that excess off, but I will leave 1/4 inch longer, and then I'll take a flush trim bit on my router and clean up that edge nicely. And that worked quite well. Okay, so I'm left with a little bit of a dilemma here on this. This is not long enough to wrap around the edge, so I'm going to put a different edge band on that, wood trim of some sort or something. And then for this side here, I'm going to have to join it. Again, I've never done this before, so this is new to me. Hopefully you can join this and blend it in easy enough. I am not sure. But I have a leftover piece, and I'll cut a strip and join it in. Hopefully it works out. I'm going to have my wife help me with this to peel it back and paste her down. Okay, let go for a second. Let go. I got to pull forward. Now this film, it's thicker, and it's got a sheen on it. It's easier to clean, wipe. It's a really good product. I'm really shocked by it, and you can get it in various designs, various colors. Would I buy this again? Absolutely. It's a durable finish, and it saves me a lot of time from staining or painting, clear coating. This was so simple and easy, and it was basically you can make a top and cut it and put this film in one day. It's not a problem. Now, it being short, of course, the cabinet is bigger than normal due to the fact of the equipment that my wife's using on the table. We had to make it a little bit more wider. And it's not that hard to apply. It really isn't. And it smooths out very easy. Air bubbles come out very, very easy. And it's got a good bond, a good stick to it. Again, I'll do a review in 6 months to see where it's at. But other than that, from what I see, it's a good product. And this is a TEMU product, believe it or not.
I'm trying to get the design to be somewhat lined up with the other one, but it doesn't. It's not going to match because it's not the full piece. So we're going to do the best we can here.
Now here you kind of notice the difference, and that's because it was too short. I didn't have a long enough piece to figure out that pattern to make it match. If I were to do it again, I'd buy a longer piece.
So the only thing left now is the edge band on the countertop. And then this is pretty much a done deal. And again, as you see at the end there, you don't even see those pieces joined in because it's all covered with equipment anyways. But it's a nice, hard, durable finish, which is I'm a little surprised on this. But we'll see how long it lasts. I'm just going to use some edge banding. I'm not going to stain it, I'm not going to clear coat it, I'm just going to leave it the way it is.
Once I was done putting the edge band on, I did sand it lightly just to get it any marks or stains or anything off it. Other than that, that's all I did. I did not stain it, did not clear coat it, nothing like that.
Now that the edge banding is completed, I do have this wall here that I need to finish off. And then of course my ceiling. There used to be a wall separating this and I had to open it up to make the office bigger. And then on this side here I'm going to put some shelving up. Now this side of the room, this is the wife's business. She takes care of it on this side. Some shelving that needs to go up over here. And the rest of the office is complete. Just needs some cleaning up to do. And that's my side. The flooring's been done. Again, it's year end, so it's a little bit of a mess for us right now, but casings around the door that need to go on, and just finish up this little bit on this side here. And that is that. And that pretty much wraps it up for this video. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.